sample OPI in English. Because she speaks Spanish and I speak French, and then it'll just be easier for all the languages out there. So basically we're just going to do this sample, and then hopefully you'll understand that something like this will happen in your language, of course. You telling me a little bit about yourself. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I am a student at the Teacher University where I have studied Spanish education and am learning more about curriculum and instruction. I would really like to teach any age of children. I like to work with kids. I love to speak in the language. I love to read. I spend a lot of time with my family and friends. I also like to run or swim are some of the activities I like to do outside of school.
Okay. And like, where is your family? Where do they live? And what have you done with swimming and running? Do you still do that, like on a daily basis? Tell me a little bit about your family first. Let's start there.
Okay. Well, I have a younger sister who is also now in college studying art education, and my mom is a business coach. My dad used to be a salesman. I have a brother who is older, and he used to be actually a baseball player and almost made it to the pros.
Wow.
Yes, he got drafted into the minor leagues, and I have a grandma who lives in Florida, and I have most of my family is in the state I live in, and they're close by, and I see my family often.
Great.
And we have a pretty close bond.
And since you talked about swimming and running and things, what is like a daily kind of routine for you? What do you usually do?
Well, I don't swim or run as much as I did. I used to swim 6 days out of the week. When I was in high school, I swam all year round, every day but Sunday, about 2 to 3 hours a day. And I also taught swim lessons and lifeguarded in the summer, so I swam all the time. And I taught swim lessons. Now I try to get to the pool when I can to do swimming. With running, I try to run as often as I can, but because of my busy schedule, I'm not able to run as much as I would like.
Okay. And you're a student, so what else are you doing during the day? When do you go to classes and things like that?
I usually have classes in the evening, and I do other work that I have for the university during the day, as well as homework. Okay. So I basically sit in an office for a long time doing work on a computer.
Okay. And what kind of teacher do you want to be?
A Spanish.
A Spanish teacher. Okay. So, so when you were lifeguarding, I mean, this was probably a few years ago. Do you remember any kind of really interesting kind of event or story that you can tell me about that happened at the pool?
Sure. One time I was sitting, one time when it was thunderstorming, what happens in our pool is when it starts to storm, everybody has to either leave or go under a kind of a shelter, and we all have to stay there, and no one's allowed in the pool until, I believe it's 15 minutes after the last lightning strike. And so it was a pretty bad storm, and we were all standing under this shelter, and some of the people at the pool were still there if they hadn't left yet to see if they could wait it out. And there was a big flash of lightning, and it hit our pool, and I just remember it was a big flash of light, and then a loud noise, and one of the other lifeguards actually went in and checked the temperature, and it had actually spiked. So the lightning did hit the pool, and that was just the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Wow, and everybody was safe?
Yes, everyone. We had been under the shelter for a while, because the rule is now that if you hear thunder, everyone has to be out of the pool. It's not lightning anymore, it's thunder.
And like, what did you have to do to become a lifeguard? Like,
I had to take, I believe it was like a 6-week course. You get CPR and first aid certified by you do an actual demonstration kind of test where you have to show how you would give CPR to a dummy and kind of thing like that. We had to do tests with swimming. You had to be able to swim 500 yards, either freestyle or breaststroke, which was a cakewalk for me since I'm a swimmer. And then we had to do some other things. We had to like practice jumping in and doing like a save, and then at the very end you take a written test. And then in order, you have to get, depending on your certification, you're supposed to get your CPR and first aid. It's either a year or 2-year certification, and then your lifeguarding, I believe, is 5.
Okay, and are you still a lifeguard now?
No, I did not get recertified
Okay.
because I got a different job.
So I've been to, a lot of pools and beaches, and I mean, what do you think about the whole idea of having like lifeguards? Do you think that it's important to have, the lifeguards and water safety? I mean, I'm sure you've also been to beaches where there are no lifeguards, and at pools that necessarily doesn't happen, but I mean, what is the point to having lifeguards, and why is it important in general to have that water safety and those lifeguards trained and all that kind of thing? What's so important about that?
Well, it's important because people need to be safe, and especially when you're at a pool or a beach, there are a lot of people, and that's a lot of people for maybe one person to keep track of. And especially I would think in a beach, there's waves. It's not easy to keep track of certain people. I mean, I know when I was a kid, we used to drift away. So I think it's important too in that way. And these people are also certified. Not everyone knows how to do CPR. So even if you are there, if no one that you're with knows how to do the necessary things like first aid or CPR, then that's kind of a problem. So I think it's important that you're able to go out with your family and enjoy it and be safe and know that, if there were a situation, you have people at hand that are professionally trained.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think about, if you go to other countries, there's a lot less lifeguards on the beaches and things like that. What would you maybe suggest, or what would you institute in other countries if you could, to help with, water safety and things like that?
Well, maybe just first you should probably inform them of why it would be better to have lifeguards available, maybe by showing them statistics or research that backs it up that, it does help, that it saved lives and something like that. Also inform them of how they can go about having a program to train them, and that, it's also another way to get people to have jobs. And you're employing people, getting people involved in the community, and so I guess go about like that, and then implement it and try it out, and then see, have them maybe even chart whether or not they see a difference at their beach if things increase, like if incidents decrease because they have somebody there.
Okay, great. Well, I'm not saying that Natasha is either at the advanced or superior level, but because many of you will probably have an advanced prompt, we're going to do one of those, because this is where we would do the role play. And I think that the interviewer might have done yet another gone back to one of her questions at the beginning, but for time and for you understand the idea, we're going to go to a topic. So here is an advanced prompt that we're going to ask. So Natasha, you're living in an apartment right now, and you go home and the window is broken. So what you have to do is call the building manager and describe the problem, explain how it happened, and try to get the window repaired as quickly as possible. So we're doing this on the phone, so we're going to pretend like I'm the building manager, and of course you're just in your regular position and the window is broken. So.
Okay. So, hello, I need to speak to the manager, please, of the building.
Hello, this is the manager. This is Juanita.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. How are you? Who is this?
I am Natasha, and I am one of your tenants.
Oh, Natasha. Oh, how are you? It's great to hear from you.
I'm doing all right. Have a
Great.
little situation I needed to discuss with you. So yesterday, there were these kids outside my apartment window who like to throw around a little football, and they happened to hit my window and break it.
Oh my goodness!
And when this happened, you guys were close.
Where are you living again?
I'm living in the Bear Apartments.
Oh, the Bear Apartments. Okay, over there. Yes, on that side of campus.
Yes,
okay.
and I'm on the first floor, so they hit my window and it happened to break. And I was going to call you, but the office was closed last night, and it's kind of important that I get it closed since it's been starting to drop below 0, and we're getting some really cold, and I would like to keep the house cold or warm.
Well, I am actually not in town right now. I am down with my family, because it's Thanksgiving is on Thursday, and I've already left the area, so I'm not sure what we can do for you.
Well, is there anyone, any people that you have employed that come take care of stuff for you guys, like, a worker that I could call that may be around still that could come by and take a look? Or
yeah, it's just usually my husband Bob that does those things. I'm not really sure. Gosh, I'm gonna have to really think about this. Have you got any more ideas of? Don't you have a nice boyfriend that hangs around with you? He couldn't do anything?
Well, I need the window, the one piece of glass replaced, and we don't have the money to go out and buy that.
You don't have any money right now?
No.
And maybe you could do this all, and then we could reimburse you when we get back. That wouldn't work for you?
No, I don't think that'll work. Not with. I live paycheck to paycheck, so.
Well, I'm going. You know what? This is hard stuff because we're gone and we're not going to be back for the weekend. Maybe you could just get some plastic or something, or a board, and you could.
That would work. I'll be gone too. We'll just. Okay. Do you think the pipes will freeze should we keep the heat on low?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if you put some plastic or some board up there, that might work out. I'm trying to. I don't know. I do have my brother-in-law that maybe I could talk to. I mean, he's not always the friendliest guy, but maybe I could call him and he could help out too.
Okay.
When is it that you're going to be leaving?
I will be leaving on the not tomorrow, but the next day.
Okay.
So.
All right. So let me have your number, and then I'll be able to call you back, and we'll be able to figure this out because this is just this. Yeah, I wouldn't want the pipes to freeze. So.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So let me have your number.
Okay.
555 what?
434.
Okay.
1234.
Okay. All right. So Natasha, thank you for calling. And I'll get back to you, okay?
All right, thank you. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Okay. Okay. So, Natasha, so that was great. What are you going to be doing for the rest of the day today?
Well, I am going to be working on other homework to try to get as much work as I can done before Thanksgiving so I can eat lots of turkey and have no worries.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, have a wonderful day, and you should be getting your results within a week or so, I'd say, at the most.
All right. Well, thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So that is your sample OPI, and as you can see, we started at the beginning and, had the warm-up, and she told me a little bit about herself, and I learned, some different things, like she was a student, that she had been a swimmer before, and she talked about how she had lifeguarded, so I decided to kind of go that route and ask her more about an experience, like narrate and describe a past experience, which that is an advanced kind of topic to be talking about. And then I decided to push her a little bit more to get at the superior level where she would actually talk about the importance of water safety and even going into the global kind of world about how important it is to have somebody watching your kids and things like that, because adults don't all know how to swim. So we got to a good place, and then like I said, I probably would have given her a superior prompt, but I wanted you to know more of what an advanced prompt would be like. But another superior prompt could, go even deeper into, protection and safety and what's going on with security at the airport, or just even what the U.S. has been doing since 9/11. And to talk about that would have been a good superior question. So that's it for the OPI.